Okay, yeah. So what I want to do is I want to start with talking about what makes Kiriko Kiriko and why like what
Mhm,
she's good at, right?
mhm.
So what do you think is the reason for that? Like why is Kiriko good? Why would anybody choose to play her versus another hero? What's her identity in Overwatch?
Well, she's good in a dive composition, or when someone is
Okay.
flanking, she's really she can prevent them to die.
Ah, okay.
And
Yeah, yeah. So she's really good at going with people on flanks. We call that plus
so
oneing.
yeah,
But basically, it just means like whoever you're with, you're adding one person to that flank, right? So yeah,
yeah.
this is honestly probably her biggest strength, right? This is a huge, huge, huge reason why Kiriko is played in pro comps. It's why
Mhm.
she's really good in competitive, especially. But yeah, what about her kit lets her plus one? Like, what about it is so good?
Eh, the teleport or like
Yeah.
in
Okay.
general.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
No.
that's good. That's good. So she has a
So
huge
she
amount of
has
mobility, right?
yeah,
Go ahead. What are you gonna say?
and she has also zen disengagement opportunity. So you can, if you want to, let's say there is you find yourself in a 1v1 situation and you're gonna die, you can just teleport to a nearby ally and that prevent that. So she has, I would
Um,
say, I would
sure.
call it a
Yeah. I mean
plan B.
that falls underneath her mobility, right? The ability to
Okay.
disengage whenever she wants, right?
And then the Suzu is to counter annonades, most, not most, some of the ults as well, they, if used correctly.
Okay.
So we have the Zenyatta orb, so the Reinhardt charge, so you can really use the Suzu in very, how to say it, critical moments to save
Sure.
fights.
Sure. I mean that you're just kind of describing what the ability does, right? But why does that make her better at plus oneing?
Uh, so let's say there is like someone who is about to lose a 1-1, so you can heal and also help to damage, I guess.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So obviously, like her damage is part of it, right?
Mhm,
Because like the better the hero is at dueling, the more they're able to like go off on their own, right?
mhm,
So really high duel potential, right?
mhm,
Um, and then even more so than that, I want you to think about how her healing actually works. Like it's a relatively slow heal, right?
mhm,
It travels kind of slow. It's single target, right? So you can't. It's
mhm,
not like Baptiste where he can like heal multiple people at once, right?
mhm, mhm,
And then even the Suzu that you were kind of talking about has like a bit of a wind up time. Has a pretty heavy arc, and it's also like relatively slow as well, right?
yeah.
So all of this kind of points out that all these strengths basically are kind of like really delineating, really kind of pointing out to you how and where she should be played, right? So she's really, really good at these plus oneings, right? Or at being the extra person on the angle. And she's really good at keeping one person alive and
Mhm,
fortifying that angle that that person's on. Does that make sense?
mhm, yeah.
Okay, perfect. So what we don't want to see from a high level Kiriko, or for someone who wants to get better at Kiriko, is we don't want them to sit towards the back and be trying to like heal multiple people. Right? So let's say you're Kiriko here and you have your teammates here, right? You don't want to be sitting towards the back healing multiple people at range. Because now you're just playing her as if she's an Ana, but she's not like good at being Ana. You know what I mean? Ana's good at being Ana, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So instead of doing something like this, we'd want her to be like here, right? Keeping this one person alive and then fortifying whatever angle this person's looking at, right?
But how realistic to do this in my Elo?
It's
When
unrealistic or it is realistic, you're saying?
no, how realistic it is,
Oh,
like the
100% realistic. Absolutely realistic. And so what we're going to do is when we watch your gameplay, we're going to look at
okay,
examples about why, how we can do that. Okay. Now,
Okay.
one thing that you need to kind of keep in mind as you're doing this, right, is the reason that Kiriko can do this safely, or the reason that like Mercy, for example, can do this safely, right, is again the first thing you mentioned. It's their mobility, right? It allows for this the capability to get out and survive very very easily, right? But for Kiriko, because her TP is like relatively committal. Like once you've TP'd in, you can't TP again unless you have that perk, but you know that comes later. Um,
Yeah.
so you need to like know where you're gonna TP to, whether or not it's safe. Because if you TP from a dangerous spot to another dangerous spot, you're gonna die anyway, right?
Yeah.
So as you're kind of going with this person to the angle, you need to be planning ahead and thinking about, okay, where am I going to TP to if someone pushes us, or let's say I don't know, like a Reaper or something, you know, hops on us, or a Sojourn slides at us, right? And my you know my DPS here or whoever this is dies. Okay, where am I going to TP to? Like, what's my escape plan? Okay, so you need to be thinking about that ahead of time. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I do that when the game starts if I want to take an off angle. So okay, I take a look where my team and
Good,
then
good.
but during the fight, very hard to do that.
Yes, yes, yes. And this is the more difficult part about Kiriko because she has a lot of different things she needs to keep track of during the fight, right? For example, one is again where you can TP to, right? What we just talked about. Two
Mm.
is my Suzu needed, right? Let's say you're helping your Zarya out, right? But you want to Suzu her, but she actually has a bubble left, so she's gonna bubble herself, right? Because that's her cooldown. And but then if you stack bubble and Suzu, it's like it's a huge waste, right? Because she
Yeah,
didn't actually need the Suzu. So a really 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 good Kiriko will also like internally and kind of automatically track their teammates' own cooldowns, and so they'll be like, okay, I know my Zarya doesn't need a bubble yet, or doesn't need Suzu yet because she has bubble, and then when she bubbles and then she's still gonna die, then I Suzu, right?
mm.
Same thing with like Reaper fade, Moira fade. What else?
May.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. May, yeah,
I.
exactly. Like Baptiste lamp, right? All that kind of stuff. Okay. So yeah, so she has more stuff to keep track of mid fight, but all of this like this added difficulty, like in comparison to a hero like I don't know, for example, like Mercy or Juno, right? Um, it allows for greater control of the game because if you get good at all of these different things, you're gonna just be dominating lobbies, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. So yeah, I don't want to get too much into the weeds about like all this theory stuff. So let's go ahead and start taking a look at your actual gameplay here. Okay.
Okay.
So before we start, is there anything you wanted to ask about? Anything you wanted to get out of the way?
Mm. I think I wanted to ask something, but not really related to Kiriko per se.
Oh,
But
okay. Yeah. Cool.
how do you deal with if you have the weakest link in your team? Let's say a very obvious weak
Mm.
DPS.
Uh.
So.
So there's two approaches to this, right? One is to figure out why that person is weak, like so much weaker. If
Mhm.
they're like going on angles and they're not getting support and they're doing the right thing but they're dying because they're not getting support and they're
Uh,
expecting support or something like that, then that could be a reason to help them
Dying a
more.
lot quickly,
Yeah,
like
yeah. Well,
staying in
it
the
depends on
middle.
why, right? So try to think about why that's happening, right?
Mhm.
And if it's something that like is not fixable, not something like you can do from your perspective, then
Mm.
just like try to carry him even harder. You know what I mean? Like don't so you don't necessarily have to +1 with him all the time, for
Mhm.
as an example, but you can try to like get value in other parts of the game so much that it outweighs the negative value that this person's contributing. Right? Does that make
I
sense?
see. Mhm. Okay.
Okay. And then the other thing is like again, most of the time, if they're because these people are not they're in your game for a reason, right? On average, they're the same rank as you,
Yeah,
or
yeah,
close
yeah.
enough to you, right? So they could just be having a bad game. If that's the case, then try to figure out what you can do to like help them. You know what I mean? That kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah. That's the purpose of the question is what to do to make it less impactful in
Yeah, yeah,
general.
yeah. So it could be something. It could be like, let's say, for example, if you're playing Kiriko, it could be going with them and like just giving them more resources, or it
Mhm.
could be like talking to them in voice if that's an option, and just saying like, oh, just making sure they're on the same page, like timing wise, for
Mhm.
example. That's actually a big reason why a lot of people have bad games. Like their timing is just off relative to their team, and they don't realize. So sometimes it can
Yeah.
be that. So yeah, so really just try to think about why it's happening first, and then address that. You know
Mhm.
what I mean?
Okay.
Um, okay. So let's start.
Initial flashpoint. Arena.
Yeah, so I like what you're doing here, right? But again, what you want to do really early on here is you want to get to the off angle first, right? Because you don't want to
Mhm.
TP to the off angle because that means you've used your committal cooldown and now you're in more danger, right? But you want
Mhm.
to walk to the off angle, use your wall climb, use your mobility, right? To get to the off angle and then TP out of the off angle if you need, right? So in order
I
to
see.
do that early on for this first fight that's about to happen, you actually want to use your TP pretty early, like maybe when you were back here, so that you're at where your soldier's at, and then you can walk this way, right?
Mhm.
Because what that's going to allow you to do is it's going to allow you to set up for the fight here. Because as we know, mainly the fight tends to happen
Yeah.
like across here, right? So we want to be able
I
to introduce this second angle here. Does
yeah.
that make sense?
I hate this map.
Yeah. This is a kind of a
This
complicated map.
this specific one is
Yeah. I don't blame you. This map is kind of a pain in the ass. But it's important to realize, like, what we can do about it, right? So if
Mhm.
this is
Yeah.
like the main fight here, right, we want to
Mhm.
introduce second angle here, okay? Now,
Okay.
why is this second angle better than something like sitting over on this side and like shooting across the map here?
Because I don't have the line of sight about with my team, so I don't see
Uh,
my
well,
teammates.
I think that's less important with a hero like Kiriko, just because you can TP through walls and stuff like that.
Mhm.
But like, let's say for example, you're here, right, shooting here, and then you can
Mhm.
send papers here, right? So why is this worse than something like this? Even though you actually physically cannot see your team here,
Mhm.
why is this worse? Or why is this better?
Uh, yeah, because there are some obstacles in the other one, so you have only small area to. So if they are like behind
Ah, okay, sure,
that
sure,
metal
sure,
thingies,
sure.
you.
Okay, how about this
you
angle then?
oh, that's better.
Okay,
I would say if I can teleport back to my teammates, I because
yeah,
they looked to the other side.
okay. I still think this angle, for example, is worse
Hmm.
than this angle for a very specific reason, right? So is
Hmm.
Kiriko projectile or hit scan?
She is not a hit scan,
Yeah, she's projectile, right? And so
but it's faster than yeah,
it's faster than
it's
what?
than the other projectile.
Ah, yeah, of course, sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
sure. But the very fact that her projectiles, that she is projectile, means that you need to be a little bit closer to be reliable, right? And then add on top of that the fact that you can have the mobility to get out when you want, then it,
Hmm.
it adds an extra layer of security to being closer. Okay. So Kiri is
Okay.
not a long range hero like Ana or like Ash or Widowmaker or something like that, right? She actually wants to be up close compared to most of the cast, okay? Obviously not
Mm,
tanks because
okay.
you don't want to be in tank effective range, right? And not heroes like Reaper and Junkrat, but heroes like Sojourn, heroes like Alari, heroes like even Soldier, right? You actually want to be
Mhm.
a little bit closer so you can hit those headshots more reliably. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so I was using her incorrectly because I was
Yes.
using her
And
like
I mean
very
that's a
low.
pretty common misunderstanding early on, right?
Mhm.
So we want to be teleporting a little bit early so we can start on the off angle.
Mhm.
Because as soon as we walk out here, we can already see like how limited our options are. Like we
Mhm.
can't see any enemies. We can't use our kunai. We can't use our knives.
10 seconds.
And then good. I like that you turn here to go help your soldier because at least now you're plus oneing and allowing him the ability to start to take this angle, right? And
Mhm.
so
Yeah.
this is I think is fine, right? It's a bit of a slower play than starting on this side, but I think it's fine, right? It's very doable.
Okay.
Um, what I don't want to see you do is I don't want to see you come over here like basically heal bot on your soldier, do nothing else but heal like an essentially full health person, and then come back to main, right? For like no apparent reason. Okay. So here, good. I like that. Again, full health. You see that someone's over here, right? So what should your response be? You need to start shooting this person and damaging this person, right? But not from back here because it's so inconsistent, right? You want to be scooting up to something like here, right? Using this cover. You can even wall climb up here to make it harder for him to shoot you, right? But yeah, you want to be shooting him from roughly around here, okay?
Okay.
Yeah, and then this is where it all kind of falls apart, right? This is like not, this is very, very bad, right? This person doesn't need your heals, right? You have a Baptiste here, you have Zarya here. He's clearly got like several cooldowns on him that it's going to keep him safe, right? But now your soldier's like so much more vulnerable, right? Yeah. And he's not going to feel as confident to like push this angle here. Because imagine if you and soldier were right here, right now. It'd be so strong, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your day just got made.
Yeah, and so you see here, like, right, even for the past like 3 bursts of your healing papers, you're basically like healing full health people, right? Yep. I'll show you one more time. Full health, full health, full health, and then now your soldier's dead, right?
Yeah.
Where he should have had some support on this angle, right? I don't think he should have dropped it. I think that's his mistake here. Like he died, on low ground, but you should have been here to support this at some point, right?
Yeah.
Cool. And see again, full health, right? Now we're actually doing something, right? But we're right in the middle of Junkrat's like effective one-shot range, right? So we have to be really, really careful. So this feels too close. This is like not good. You want to get out of here. But this is the first time this entire fight you've actually been, contributing, right? And then because we don't have the escape plan already in our head, we teleport onto point, which is like, obviously very, very dangerous, right? And so now we're probably going to die for this. Yeah, and then here it comes. Yeah. So obviously we would like to use our Suzu there, right? And then maybe TP to our Bab or something like that, right? But a lot of little mistakes are adding up to us dying here. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so here, again, I want to see you start on the off angle, right? You don't want to TP in. Because look who, like if you start on the off angle, walk up, you would have been able to see this person first, right? A. And then B, you might have been able to help your Reaper a little bit sooner, right? So why is your... Actually, there's no way you would have been able to help Reaper. Never mind, I take that back.
The goddess is here. Restoring your light.
Yeah, I mean this is all deaths that are preventable, right?
Enemy spotted.
Good Suzu, I like it. I think it's fine. Good. Yeah, I think this is fine, right? He starts to close in on that like very, very dangerous range, so you TP out. This is good, right? But then again, this your Zarya does not need healing, right? Like your BAP is like full healing him, right? Like he's basically shoving the gun up to Zarya's butt and just like injecting all the heals he can. So
I have this bad habit that I will pre-heal. So because sometimes it's the range from full health to crit is like super fast. That I always have this habit that I should like, okay, I'm pre-healing them, so in case that they are taking damage, it's already reaching out to them.
Heroes like Juno and on heroes like Juno, I think honestly, like basically supports that are not good at dueling, I think it's fine to do that because you're not going to get that much more value out of trying to duel. But on a hero like Baptiste, Ana, Kiri, right, people or Zen even, right? On people who are good at dueling, if you're not trying to duel, you're losing a lot more value, right? So TP out, that's great, fantastic, right? But we should be turning to see what other opportunities we have, right? Is the Junkrat chasing us? Can we, for example, just break Pylon, or can we shoot the Alari here, right? You need to be looking for these opportunities because if you're just shooting papers all game, like it's just, you're going to lose a lot more, right?
Yeah.
This is fine, right? Yeah, good. Turning for the Junkrat. And then at this range, this is like completely okay to just like throw kunai. You're just left click him, right? Because it is very inconsistent for him to hit you. You have a lot of cover here. You need to start shooting him. Yep, good. Good, yeah, this is perfect, right? He can't shoot you. You could even just stay up there. Yeah, and then ironically, this Junkrat's now chasing you around the map. Good. I like the patience on the Suzu. I don't know if that was intentional or not. That's really, really good, right? And then because you're such low health, you can't really do anything, so you have to wait, right? Stabilize a little bit, and then start looking for your off angle, okay?
This ends.
So, very unfortunate, right, in terms of timing with your team's respawns and all this kind of stuff, and I think the grab was a bit of a waste on like the Zarya and stuff like that. And yes, you could have like shot the squishies in the grab and all that kind of stuff. But really, like, the reason that they got to 99% already is because of how our team is playing this, of course, but also because of how we're playing this, right? It was just very, very passive, very, very not proactive, very reactive, right? So we can also just skip through this. The next fights. Oh, I think it's all fine. TP.
What's up?
Okay.
Flashpoint
Cool.
unlocks in
So
10
now
seconds.
we get to a position where we're kind of expecting them to come from a certain area, right? Expecting them to come through here, and so we have our soldier's angle here, and then we have our Zarya's angle here, right? Which do you think is going to be a little bit better for us to kind of occupy?
Out of these two,
Yeah.
or the where soldier is,
Why?
because it's high ground and definitely they are gonna go for the objective.
Okay. So you're expecting them to kind of walk through here.
Yep.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that's fine. If that's your expectation, I think that's fine. If you're expecting them to walk through here, oops.
Then the high ground in the opposite on where behind Zarya.
No, I still
That's
think
what-
that's bad. If you're an Ana, I think it's good, but this is too far for Kiri. You're not going to be able to
okay.
reliably hit shots, right? If you're expecting to come through here, then I think something like starting with your Zarya here and then wall climbing over this to shoot in their back, I think that would be a great play, right?
I see.
So let's see what happens here.
The Kitsune is ready.
Yeah, so obviously, like, nice to get in this little poke here, but we're not doing anything to this Zarya. Like, she can, we could hit her like 20 times and she wouldn't die. And then, so here they're like taking control of this high ground, right? And so your soldier backs up because he kind of has to. And so, you can kind of already see that a lot of the map control is being given to the enemy team because they have access to this, they have access to all this, right? And then they have also access to this because of them taking this high ground, right? But it's not like we could have done much about that because our Zarya chooses to play point. So our options here are like relatively pretty limited, right? So option one is like play point and wait for the enemy team to like descend upon us, right? Which is obviously not that great. Option two is, again, just like how it was with the first point, your soldier's on the off angle, so you can go and you can help him, right?
Okay.
So you can help him start to take this angle, right? To fight this a little bit. And then option three is to be more independent and then do the same thing but on the left side, right?
Okay.
Which would you choose? Which do you think is better?
I would help my soldier because I cannot duel with the whole team there.
Yeah. Good. Okay, that's fine.
Flashpoint unlocked.
Yeah, so clearly, like, literally, we're just AFK for past 5-10 seconds, right?
Yeah.
And then so your Reaper helps your soldier, but your soldier dies for it, right? Something that's like clearly preventable. Yeah, it was like, and it was basically a 1v1, right? You definitely could have saved him here. Well, not
Okay.
1v1 rather, but like, you know, he's only taking damage from one person, I should say. Right.
But isn't it the same if I left Zarya that she is like trying to take
No,
the
because your Baptiste. Is
the Baptiste, yes,
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 exactly.
yeah.
Plus, it's important to realize that Baptiste is a very self-sufficient healer, right? So the more self-sufficient your other healer is, the more you can afford to go off on your own and be aggressive, right? Because
Okay.
they just don't need your help as much, right? If
Mhm,
if this is someone like, I don't know, like
Zenyatta.
Zen, yeah, then yeah, you're gonna
Yeah,
need to heal bot a little bit more, right? But yeah, okay. So even in a situation like this, right? So let's say all these people are dead here, right? Like their angles don't exist. Okay. In a situation like this is like a very head-on kind of fight, right? So
Mhm.
you're stacked with your Baptiste, like healing your Zarya from the same angle. The Zarya is shooting essentially, you know, head on here. What can we do to kind of shift things in our favor?
Go to the left of Baptiste.
Yes,
Yeah,
perfect,
yeah,
exactly. Right, introduce the second angle. So now this Olari cannot stand here. She's just gonna die, right?
yeah.
Because you know she's standing between, or the Zarya is gonna have to bubble her, or both, right? So
Mhm.
so exactly, good. So we want to, but we want to start on the off angle. So let's say you have a Zen here, right? In this specific situation, because there's so few people, right? Like it would be okay to teleport to him, but like hypothetically, you would want to walk here first, right? Start here
Mhm.
with your own like no cooldowns, and then you still have TP to get out if you need, right?
I see. Mhm.
I think this ult is good. I think it's actually very good ult, right? But what do I want to see you do with it, right? And even their Alari has like a similar idea, right? She starts to take this angle so that she can
Mm.
shoot, you know, you and Bap up here, right? Yeah, good. So we're contesting Ilar. I think that's fine. But the way to do this a little bit better is to drop down like into your own ult and then walk here,
Mhm.
because it gives
Yeah.
you like that extra lingering effect.
Okay. Yeah.
Good. You step back into it. I like that. Yeah. So we're just staying like we're staying really far from the enemy team for too long, right? Once we
Okay.
pop the carry ult, it's time to go. I'm not saying just run at them, but you know you should be trying to close the distance a little more so you can use your knives more effectively, right? This would be really good positioning if you're Juno, if you're Ana, or even if you're Zen, right? But this is like a little bit too passive for Kiri, I think. Good Suzu, I think it's fine. Okay, so you know exactly where the Junkrat is.
Tactical goggles activated.
Yeah, just drop into the Sojourn, right?
I'm the cream of the crop.
Yeah, so like very very passive, right?
Mhm.
And I think honestly this might be a remnant of playing Juno, perhaps.
Yeah, it
Because
could be.
yeah, because all this is like very Juno-esque gameplay.
I'm on fire.
You are completely healed.
Okay, yeah. So a little bit of a combo here with Reaper is when he ults, you should just try to Suzu him because he could get
Mhm.
one shot, he could get stunned. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And so that's why your Zarya bubbles, of course. But yeah, you could just Suzu him even earlier, just in case. Because if their Junkrat were closer, the Junkrat could like boop the Reaper away, and his ult wouldn't really.
I'm on fire.
All right. Cool. So right, so I want to see you again. Start on the off angle and then TP wave if you need to, right? So here, like clearly, you know, the line that's clearly being drawn by the enemy fire and your team's fire, right? This is like the line, right? This is the choke, so they're gonna eventually have to, you know, get through this area. Where can we start to kind of put ourselves at a good off angle?
Mm, I think to the right.
Yeah, to the right where? We kinda
the
hold
right
it.
of.
Go ahead, go ahead.
So I wouldn't say that close inside the building.
Yeah.
But that alley, that small there.
Yeah, perfect. Good. So we can get free shots as they walk up, maybe even potentially kill somebody. Good. Yeah, you could even potentially like be super sneaky and play this low ground area, but there's
Mhm.
not like a huge need to. I mean, either way is fine because you have wall climb and TP. But yeah, you wanted to
Mhm.
start here and make it more difficult for them to walk up, and then you can easily like teleport anywhere you want, right? This off angle is fine, but it basically says that you're waiting to be able to do anything until they start to get to the choke, right? Then you can start pinching them with your Zarya here, right? So I think this is fine.
Okay.
It's just like a little bit more waiting involved, right?
Okay.
And then here, I think this TP back is premature. It's like too early, right? Because your Zarya is here. You're like essentially leaving her out to dry, right? You've set up the crossfire already, and then you're just TPing back because what? Because your Baptiste needed some heals. You can do that from here, right?
No, I think because the Iari was pushing.
That's okay. Let her push. You have so many resources here, right?
Okay.
Your Baptiste can look at you. Your Zarya can look at you, right? You can shoot her, obviously, right? You have Suzu, right? So
Yeah.
if she wants to push, then let her push. She's not going to be able to kill you instantly, right?
Mhm.
I'm here.
Unlocks in 10 seconds.
Yeah. And then, of course, I don't need to say, but like the Suzu is just kind of wasted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I have this reaction.
Yeah,
I need to
yeah.
get rid of it.
Okay. So let's talk about what we can do now, because clearly our Zarya had a pretty decent positioning, but because our entire team backed up from here to here, she's going to be like left out in the cold, right? So what can we do
Mhm.
right now? Obviously, their team is also taking angles on the right side. What can we do? What should we do?
Mm, I can take the off angle next to the soldier, not inside the objective, but out.
So something like this.
Yeah, but
Okay.
in terms of helping Zarya, I would teleport to her and help her. But
Hmm.
I guess there is like Sojourn and Junkrat there as well.
Yeah. So let me ask you this: what is the biggest threat to your team right now?
Mm, I think Sojourn.
Yeah, I agree. So that means you should do something about the Sojourn, right? So if you're Mercy, for example, right, the only thing you can really do is boost the person fighting the Sojourn, which is your Reaper, right?
Reaper. Okay.
If you're Juno, same thing. You can kind of shoot at the Sojourn, yes, but you want to be giving the Reaper speed boost, all this kind of stuff, right?
Mm.
What can we do for Kiriko?
I can take the off angle
Yes.
and also shoot Sojourn
Perfect.
while keeping an eye on Reaper in case he's about to die. I
Yes,
can keep it to him
exactly.
and Suzu him.
Exactly. So you can actually just +1 with your Reaper here, right? If you just walk to the same angle with your Sojourn, right? You heal him, shoot, heal, shoot, right? And then the Sojourn's gonna die, right? Even I think just like maybe one headshot from you would have killed her here. But yeah. So the idea is, yeah, you can walk this way, and then this also puts you in TP range for your Zarya, right? Because once you flush the Sojourn out or kill her, right, then you can worry about the Junkrat. Then you have this entire right side of the map, right?
True. Yeah.
But this, yeah, you can see, like, it's just physically, logistically difficult to hit these shots because you're so far away. So we want to close distance on the Sojourn a little bit, right?
Okay.
And then not here where we're creating more distance, right?
Like mending a shadow.
Good, I like the TP. What is the first perk, by the way, that you use?
The first perk I think is the healing one.
It like makes it travel faster if they're crit or something like that? Oh, okay.
And the second one is the teleport.
Okay, what is the other option for that? I always forget. Let me
I never paid attention to that.
Kiriko perks. Let's see. Minor perks. Kunai hits launch 2 feeling Ofuda to an ally in front of you. That seems really strong.
Yeah, but
Yeah, so honestly,
not-
like, if you're, like, this is gonna sound kind of bad, but if you're worse at Kiriko, the first perk is better, like, the one that you're choosing is better, because, like, you know, you're basically, this is, like, more of a heal botting kind of playstyle, right?
Mhm.
But if you're good at Kiriko and you're plus oneing and you're doing what you're supposed to be doing and you're doing what she's good at doing, this perk seems to be way better because
Okay.
you're automatically like contributing healing on the +1 on your +1 ally,
Mhm.
just by doing damage, which is something you need to do anyway. You know what I mean? So this seems
Yeah.
really good. So I can encourage you to, if you're gonna put more time into Kiriko and you're gonna be plus oneing and all this kind of stuff that we're talking about, try this perk out. This might be
Okay,
actually
I
really
will
strong.
do that.
And then, yeah, the switch step thing is honestly insane. So yeah, I think that's fine to keep using the switch step. Okay. Yeah, here. So even plus oneing can be done with your Zarya, right? Your Zarya is actually taking the off angle here, so you can kind of see this is like the main that your team is looking at, and then their team is also looking this way. So you could consider either of these places the quote unquote main angle, right? So plus oneing with your Zarya to kill the Sojourn quickly is gonna give you that man advantage early in the fight, right? And then you can kind of sweep the rest of the team, especially with this angle here, right?
I see.
On your horizon.
And then I don't know if you've noticed, but what's happening right now, that like they're sweeping this their right side, your left side, right, and then pushing your whole team away. That's happening because we were inactive for too long. Like we didn't take the opportunity to be proactive and push an angle on their team. So they're doing it to us as a result. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. I think this ult is really good. Again, I think like your ult timing seems to be quite good. But you want to be using it, right? So again, we're taking damage here. So TP to your BAP, heal them up, and then again use the ult to shoot these people, right? Okay, so you, Suzu, what's our immediate response when we get hit by Lari ult?
Yeah, but I have it on
Yeah,
cooldown.
so we already used Suzu. So what else should we do?
TP.
Yeah, TP. TP cleanses it.
Hmm.
Yeah. So you should just immediately TP. Like even if you're TPing in place, just immediately TP, right? You just want to get this thing off. Yeah, so once we TP here, now it's gone, right? Good. So let's go back a little bit here, right? So I think this ult is great, right? Don't shoot the Zarya, right? Try to shoot squishies in general, right?
I'm on fire.
Let them out.
So we try to Suzu our Zarya, okay.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a miss, unfortunately.
And this happens a lot that sometimes I want to Suzu someone on crit and I have this, should I Suzu him or should I wait for the right moment? And then right after the Suzu there is an ult and I'm like, shit, I fucked up.
So, like, obviously, that's going to happen no matter what, because a lot of times people are going to be trying to force your Suzu first anyway. So, don't worry too much about, like, oh, they use this, like, my Suzu would have been better, like, 5 seconds later, because no matter when you used it, they were going to use that stuff after anyway, you know what I mean? So, plus, if there's a greater need in the short term, you have to address that first anyway. So, I don't hate the Suzu. I think it's fine. What I don't necessarily love is how long you stayed in the middle here. So I'll show you here. Causing a lot more stress for your team. Right, so here. So ult comes out. Right, and then just notice, right, we're in the middle, right? No cover against the Junkrat. Right next to our Zarya, or to their Zarya, excuse me. So here we want to be TPing here, right? To our Baptiste top him up, right? And then even rotating this way, right? For this angle.
I see.
You could also continue to play this angle, but it's just going to be kind of tough because you're peeking like 4 people at once, right? To keep using that ult, but yeah. So we're staying in main, staying main, right? And then, and then ironically, like your whole team like overextends. So your Zarya honestly should not be pushing this far, right? But it is what it is, because had we been here, right, maybe we can help our Zarya here, we get ulted by the Alari, and then we just TP back to main, right?
Let them out.
What's up? Let me balance you out. My ultimate is ready. Let's do this.
Yeah, so here, like, I honestly just think you're too focused on healing in general.
Yes. Yeah.
Just look, your Baptiste does the same exact thing. So like either one or the other should be shooting here, right?
It's like this amount of stress that you just don't want to see your teammates on crit.
Yeah.
And
But this is really good.
It's
I
just-
actually really like this. So here you actually end up +1ing on the Sojourn here. This Suzu's a little unnecessary. It's fine.
Got one here. Just dice them.
Good, I like the TP. So here, because you have that perk now, I just immediately TP to Zarya, right? Because like you need to be like keeping her up so she can follow up on her own grav, and then this angle right now is fine, right? Like your soldier doesn't need help actively. Your Reaper's already in, right? So you can help him from here, right? It's a big play by your Zarya and Reaper there.
yeah,
Okay. That's fine. That's fine. At least the idea was there. It's a little bit late.
my reaction time is extremely slow.
So a lot, like I've noticed for when I was playing Kiri a lot, I noticed that my reaction time was really slow for Kiri as well. But it's because all of her abilities have like this weird wind up time. So you either need to like have godlike reactions where like you're just reacting so much faster that the wind up time doesn't really matter, or you need to be thinking ahead. Like a lot of it's foresight.
It
right?
is it. Yeah.
It's like, okay, where am I going to TP if I get pushed here? Okay, I'm going to TP there. So then when it happens, you just immediately do it, right? You don't have to think about it. Or like, okay, when is my Suzu going to be needed? You know what I mean? Like, so right here, I'm already thinking, right here, I'm already thinking, okay, we just killed 3. Like, does my Zarya need the Suzu, right? So I'm just looking at it because she's the only person that's on our entire team. So, you know, that's the only reason that she would need, the only person who would need Suzu, you know what I mean? So I'm staring at Zarya, does she need Suzu? Does she need Suzu? And then when I see this, okay, the Sojourn is shooting at my Zarya. My Zarya has less than 100 HP. I need to Suzu, right? So right here, it's already late, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So one more fight on this point. Again, don't start on the main with your soldier. Like, this is like, if you were Widowmaker, you'd be playing here. You know what I mean?
Okay.
You want
Yeah.
to be like, you know, here, preventing the Junkrat to get an angle, something like this, right? Even, again, something that we talked about before, you want to be playing here, right? And the idea is not necessarily to get kills, especially against someone like Zarya, but just to force cooldowns, right? Force attention, force resources. Good.
This ends now.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I died to that.
So what is your immediate reaction here?
Well, I should have TP to someone or,
TP where?
but to my
It's-
left.
Yeah, it's hard to know though because we didn't plan ahead, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like what ends up happening, right? Especially with heroes that like require a lot more proactivity, is a lot of the times lower ranked players are just playing less of the game than they should, because like your whole thought process for this fight should have started like 5-10 seconds ago. You know what I mean? But it's starting now because like, oh my god, there's immediate danger, right? But it's like already too late, right? So you need to be thinking, okay, try to just, you know, build up that foresight, think ahead a little bit more, right? Like, okay, I want to set up here. If I want to set up here, where should I need DP to? You know what I mean? And just follow that line of reasoning down.
Yeah, but I was just thinking about headshotting her, so I need to drop this ego because
But what I'm saying is, like, that's fine to think about headshotting her, but you want to be thinking about headshotting her from over here before she,
Mhm.
you know, slides in for
Yeah.
the ult or whatever, right?
yeah.
Good. So
On
yeah,
your
it's
horizon.
unfortunate, but yeah, I like that you're like thinking about going with your soldier, right? I like that. Good. And I think starting here is great, right? If someone else can touch point, this is like a great place to start the fight, and then because it allows you the ability to scoot up here, right? So this is a little unfortunate that your soldier does. Yeah, that's crazy. Okay, wow. Your soldier definitely gonna touch. That's insane. But yeah. Nope.
Yep.
Crashing? What's going on?
Yeah,
There we
it
go.
happens sometimes with the replays.
Yeah.
Enemy turret ahead.
Okay. So let's try to build up some foresight, right? The next fight, you know, obviously it's not happening yet, but where do we want to set up, right? Who do we want to +1 with? Like where's our off angle? We need to be thinking about these kinds of things, right? So you see how you're so far back? You're constantly needing to TP like to match up with your team.
Let the Kitsune guide you.
I don't hate this ult. I think it's fine.
Yeah, but sometimes when I Kitsune, just my teammates, they just go away from it. I don't understand why.
Well,
Let the
to be fair,
Kitsune
like
guide you.
your Reaper's already in it, right? And your Baptiste doesn't actually want to be in it here, right?
Yeah.
So starting it from the high ground is nice because it will give him the boost like from here, right? And then your other team is already capped point over here, so there's no way they can use it, right? So everyone who can use it is using it here, right?
I see.
But yeah, ideally we want to like start it from high ground a little bit so our BAP can use it, right? But what I really don't like about this play is, so obviously good dodge, right? This is very, very good. We TP into our Reaper here. And so this is obviously like super dangerous, right? And so we either need to use TP immediately again to get out, or we need to like tuck ourselves in this corner and hope the Junkrat doesn't swing on us, right?
Yeah.
Because this is like super, super, super risky positioning. And so yeah. So now we just end up TPing back to where we were, right?
Yeah.
And so that's why this ult doesn't get too much done, right? Because only 3 people can use it. A, B, like we end up TPing super aggressively, so we have to spend our resources to get out rather than using the ult to fight them, right?
Yeah, true.
Okay, so we get our Baptiste up. I think it's fine. I think that's fine too. I like this. Now you're +1ing with your Reapers. This is good, right? Good. And now we have like the perfect opportunity here, right? So to be honest, like I would not worry about healing our Zarya here, because if she doesn't have bubble and if our BAP doesn't have lamp, she's dead anyway. Our Suzu's not going to really change that much. So just focus on shooting the people you can shoot. So like one shot to Kiri, shoot the Zarya, shoot the Junkrat, right? Heal your BAP, heal your Reaper, make sure they don't die. Yeah. So she gets bubble, Suzu, and lamp, so she's fine. All right.
Rise like the sun.
Good, setting up on high ground. Okay, so again, this position, great for Ana, right? We have cover, we're relatively far back, we can shoot whoever we want to shoot. Where do we want to start? If we're assuming, let's say we're assuming they're coming through here, where would we want to start?
So if they're coming from this door, can you turn to see the I think we're behind Baptiste down a bit because it's
Behind
creating
Baptiste down a bit, like down here.
here. Yeah, not in the same line as my team, but
But
I believe.
so again, this is really, really far back, right, for Kiri?
Okay, then where I am to the left.
Yeah. Good. So something
If
like
they're
this.
yeah, if they're assuming my teammates are still in the same position.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
okay.
now let's assume they're coming from this door, right? So we set up here, assuming they start here. We realize, okay, they're coming from main. Where do we go? We can just walk up right here, right?
Okay.
So then if they decide to go towards point, we have free shots. If they try to rotate, along this path to high ground here, we have free shots, right? And then really, like, the only danger that would ever present itself to us is if someone walks through here, but we can hear that coming, and then we can TP out, right?
Okay. Yeah.
You don't want to stand back here, right? Again, if you're Ana, yes, but you're not Ana, right? You don't want to stand here because this is not only like directly stacking with your team, but it's also like too far for here, right?
Watch here.
Yeah, like don't worry about this, right? Like she's like the slightest tinge of yellow, like she doesn't need your healing, you know what I mean? Like, so don't worry about this. You want to keep this positioning here, right? Because now they're starting to rotate actually far right. So where should we be for that?
I would go with Soldier.
Yeah. Go with Soldier. Help him a little bit, right? You can even like play inside here for a little bit and then TP out this way, right?
Your day just got made.
I think I need to let go this obsession with
Yes.
of hitting my teammates.
Be healed.
So I don't hate the Suzu, but we're doing a play that's forcing our own Suzu, right? Because we see people are getting low here, but we can see enemies like in this window, for example, right? But we don't know what the danger level is. So when we TP, like we immediately Suzu because we feel like we have to because we don't know what's going on. People are taking damage, right? So it's not so much that the Suzu is a terrible play. It's that deciding to TP here is a terrible play. Does that make sense?
I see.
Because we're TPing into the danger, whereas we want to walk like to the angle and then TP out, right? So how do we do that from down here? We could wall climb up this way, right? We could fall back, wall climb up this way, right? And then we can see what's going on here, right? And then we could even TP to like our Zarya here and then walk this way if we want to be a little bit more careful, right? Okay. Good. Good. +1 with your soldier. You see here, like your mechanics are not bad. Like we know this from watching Juno, from watching Cassidy and all this kind of stuff. But even this distance is like this distance I think is good, but this distance here it's already like difficult to land your shots against Junkrat, right? So here like you're expecting him to walk forward, right? Expecting to walk back, right? And this is because of the nature of a projectile hero, right? You need to just be a little bit closer, right?
Nice dude.
On your horizon.
I think the TP's fine though. Good. Yeah, good headshot. Yeah, okay, I don't know why your soldier dropped there. It's insane. Yeah, so again, our reaction is like very much like that of an Ana or a Juno. Not even an Ana or a Juno. Or sorry, not even a Juno. Because once we get to here and we realize we're getting pushed, we shouldn't back up this way. We should back up this way.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Good. I like using the health pack there. Good. And I even like this TP. I think this is fine, right? We're TPing to a relatively safe position, but as soon as you drop, that's the problem, right? So once we TP here, we want to wall climb on this ledge. Make sure we stay up top. Right?
Yeah, I freaked out when I found myself.
But good. And Kiri is so much harder to kill with this perk. It's crazy. I feel like you TP'd like 4 times that, 5 times that fight. Insane. Okay, good. So we have kind of an understanding about where they're going to come from, right?
Mhm.
So this is clearly the main angle, or it's going to be, right? Where can we go? Where can we set up?
We can set up in the to the left. I guess
Yeah.
that is like an open. Yes.
Yes, exactly. Even something like this, right? Against the Sojourn, this is not bad, right?
Mm.
If this is Junkrat, then okay, we need to TP out. Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. And then where's our TP? Where should we plan to TP? Who should we plan to TP to?
Yeah, I would TP to Baptiste.
Yeah.
Seems like he's in
Why
a safe
Baptiste and
position.
not like Reaper or Zarya?
They are in the main, like
Yeah.
they are in the middle.
Yeah, good. So their carry is also taking an off angle, you can see, right? But it's like her distance is also a little bit too far to be consistent. She'd actually want to be where her Zarya is. And then see here how you're creating a lot of distance between both your team and the enemy. That's like, this is like classic Ana play, right? Ana Juno play.
Yeah, in my head is like I am safe.
Yes,
no one
yes.
is looking at me,
And you are, but you're also less effective, right? You are more safe, but you're also just less effective.
The Kitsune is ready to be unleashed.
Oh, this is very risky. You know what I mean? You don't know what's going on over here.
My thought process is I would TP to main Kitsune and fall back.
Okay. It's just a little
So
early.
that's
look
my-
now.
Sunlight soothes.
But yeah, see how like your natural, like your neutral gameplay state is to fall back towards the middle and just like start healing everybody, right? Oh, heal this person, heal this person, heal this person, right? Heal TP to Zarya, heal this person, come back here, right? This is not what your hero's meant for. Like, yes, you can do these things, but yeah, you want to be like pushing one side with your team, right? Or with one other person, or even just by yourself, because Kiri's so self-sufficient. So let's pretend like we could go back in time, right? Who should we push? Where should we push? Like, talk to me about that.
In this situation?
Yeah.
Where the kitty is.
Where the enemy Kiri is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay,
So-
maybe. Who's an even easier target?
The Sojourn.
Yeah, because why?
Because she's low health, she's alone.
Yes, exactly. Because she's alone. That's really what it is, right? So if you knew, right, that the Sojourn was over to the left, I think now would be a perfectly fine time to TP then fight.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But if you don't know and you don't know who else is over here, then just walk, right? Take the time to walk, push them out, and then TP back, right? If you need, or if somebody needs.
Mhm.
It's crazy that that's so low.
Tactical goggles activated.
Enemy spotted.
Okay. Now, when your soldier is taking this aggressive angle and visoring, then you can just TP and rip carry ult if you really need to.
Mhm.
But to be honest, I don't even think your team needs it. I think these people are dead either way.
This ends now.
And see who
from-
killed you from
yeah.
what angle? Yeah, that's crazy. The Soden should never have been allowed to do this. That's insane.
I couldn't even react.
Yeah.
Ash here. The Kitsune is ready to be unleashed.
And that's like the classic example. Like, the more passive and reactive we are, the more we're allowing the enemy team to be proactive, right?
I'm here. The breeze brings relief.
Yeah, so here, like, we're clearly very concerned with, like, healing everybody. Don't worry about it, bro. Just go, right? Boom. Angle here, angle here, angle here, right? I mean, obviously, this is really deep because you don't have a TP out, but, you know, you get the idea, right? Start introducing other angles. You don't want to... You already have ult. There's no even point to doing this, you know what I mean? Actually, just stealing ult charge from your back. Good, I think this is fine.
Like lending a shadow.
Suzu's probably a little unnecessary, right? Fine.
Yeah.
And so you could say like, oh, it would have been so nice if I had Suzu for this Alaria.
Yeah,
But clearly
I
she did it because you Suzu. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I see.
Yeah, and then you just need to get out of here, right? Like you can ult here, but you can like walk this way, right?
Mhm.
Or ult here, walk up when you had the chance, and then come this way, right? But, yeah, it's just too passive. Is that the game? It might be.
Yeah.
Enemy
Yes.
turret ahead. Watch
So let's
yourself.
check the time here. Okay.
Defeat.
So I think we've clearly outlined your biggest big takeaways for your Kiriko.
Mhm.
I don't think we
Yeah.
need to go through the other game. If you want to, we can just very briefly, just to look at more examples. So what do you think?
Yeah, we can if you don't mind.
Okay, all right. Give me 1 second. Let's just like do it very quickly. So, God, where's my? There we go. So you kind of have like a little bit of a better understanding about what I'm talking about here. Okay.
Yeah.
And on a map like Midtown, it might be a little bit easier to conceptualize like where are the angles.
Mhm.
Ready for battle.
Oh my God, it's a Freya.
Defend objective A.
Okay. Yeah, so good. Starting on the off angle, right? You could actually even stay up here even like a little bit longer if your team is holding up this close, because then you can just TP out, right?
Restoring your light.
Yeah, and yeah, this is just like once you heal your Freya here, your Mercy does not need any healing whatsoever, so you can just come this way, right? Come this way, look for an angle here. Come this way, look for an angle here. Right. This is fine too. It's like not too big of a deal to shoot from main this early on. I wouldn't use Suzu just for Discord, because Discord is going to get off of you in like a second anyway, you know what I mean?
I see.
So right here you get discorded, literally just stand here and it'll come off.
The sunlight soothes. Enemy turret ahead. We have come.
Okay, so this is like another example where we're TPing into danger, right? We'd
Yeah.
rather just stand here. Like we were right here anyway. Just walk here, heal your Freya, and then see what you can do, right? So clearly they're walking along this right side. This is like super common, for this map, right? So
Okay.
where can we set up? Like, where's the off angle?
There is a window in the building to the right. Not that one.
Sure.
The other one.
I was saying like over here.
Yeah.
Sure, but again, is this a good range for Kiri?
Looks like a mid-range to who is that, Torb?
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't really like it. I think it's like
Yeah. Okay. Okay, then in the top where Freya was.
yeah. We want to be like here, right?
Yeah.
This is like so much clearer. We can see, our team can see us. We can see our team. This is like very passive, because you have to imagine, in order for us to be here, we would have needed to be here when their team was over here, right? So as they walk up, like once they're here, it's like not too bad distance wise, right? But we can't access any of their backline from here, right?
I see.
Like pretty much the only person this angle is good on is Torb, right? Whereas this angle is good on Torb, Turret, Sig, anybody who walks like through this area, right?
I see.
Hey.
Yeah, this is kind of just unfortunate. So we TP to our Freya, and then our Freya like backs up behind us, and just,
Yeah, that's typical.
yeah. She's in here. Oh my god. So I just kind of want you to notice, right? Like, oh, that's also really unfortunate. Oh, she even got this user. I just want you to notice, right? Like, anytime you're getting pushed, your gameplay is either consisting of TP to low person and then back up, or like just back up when you're getting shot, right? But the way that you're backing up is always towards where the next like main is going to be. So you're always constantly having to back up, right? Instead, if you're gonna stand here, right, and you're gonna get pushed, try to back up, you know, into your off angle, so you can stay on the off angle. And then if they use resources to push you, then you TP out. Does that make sense?
So I should be more creative about backing up.
Yes, but also just like prioritize keeping the off angle is, I guess, what I'm kind of getting at.
Okay.
Like mending a shadow.
So like even right now is where you should be thinking, okay, where can I set up for the off angle? Okay, and then once I'm there, where's my TP out? Right. So where's your off angle?
It's to the left.
Yes, exactly, something like this. Right.
No.
Good. We want to be here. We want to be using the mini, right? And then where we start TP out?
To Mercy.
Yeah. Well,
Oh.
Mercy's flying to us technically, but yeah, could be our Widow. It could be our Reaper.
Oh wait, yeah.
Oh, I knew you were gonna do it. I knew you were gonna do it. This is not what we want to do. Because now, like, we used all our cooldowns. Go ahead.
Holding the shield, and I was like, okay, I will just give him some boost.
Yeah, but the nice thing is, we wouldn't have needed to do this if we were already here. You know what I mean?
Rise like the sun.
And then even like right now, right, we're not really doing anything other than poking main, poking the tank, right? Go set up, go set up, go set up, right? Could try. The shield is obviously gonna block that, but you know, I don't hate the idea.
I've got you.
So Valk is going on, right? Nobody really needs your heals, and then importantly, like again, what are we even shooting from here, right? Like, what can we shoot from here? Nothing, right? So,
Yeah.
So go, move. Get to here, get to here, right?
Yeah.
Let the Kitsune guide you.
I made it. I think it's a little bit early. Okay, well, yeah. As soon as you ult like this, though, this person needs to die. Okay, you need to get value. If anyone's gonna get value out of this, this person needs to die. Okay, so you should just immediately be shooting this person. Think. He's gonna run away from you. That's fine. You should just be keep shooting.
My gift to you. A new dawn for you.
That's a really good Suzu by their experience.
No one can hide from my sight.
Yeah, I think this is fine. Like you had to do this, right? But as soon as this happens, you need to like back out. Just gotta run. Yeah, you can't be taking coke here. Oh, very low. Oh yeah. Wow. I don't know if you heard it, but the Ana was about to sleep you. Okay, so where should our off angle be right now? Do you think?
The top.
Yeah,
In the green.
he's standing
thingy.
up here. Yep.
Wow.
And then it also gives us the opportunity to potentially Suzu or Ryan when he's about to get slammed. Yeah, hard to do because from low ground, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I really play Kiriko like Ana.
Yeah, exactly. Honestly, like kind of like Juno too. Sometimes it's like
Yeah.
very to abuse the fact that she can duel and use her mobility, and that's what she's meant for. Oh god. Oh, does that cleanse the? I actually don't even know the interactions. Does that cleanse the pole?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. I want to see this happen.
But I just got out
Oh,
of the
yeah.
thing. Oh,
No, that's good. Yeah. Cool. Interesting. She clearly tried to solo you.
Mhm.
All right. So what is my what is my thought process here? So obviously we need to Suzu here, right? I think that's fine. But my thought process, I want to wall climb this as quickly as possible to help heal the Rhine, and then also like be careful of getting shot as I'm doing this, right? So if I wall climb up here, I can heal Rhine. But obviously, like if they swing around this corner, the wall climb becomes very, very dangerous, right?
Mhm.
So this TP is super risky, honestly. Like if
Yeah.
if you don't die for this, it's like a miracle.
Yeah, I'm also taking in consideration that there is a chance that people they will not punish me for my mistakes, so I take the risks. But it's not working every time.
Yeah, that's like a very. That's like you're playing worse because you're expecting enemy people to play worse. You know what I mean? So it's like not it's not so good if you want to improve in the long term.
And sometimes I do it as a trade, like I'm trading my life for my tank. Like,
Okay. I think it's
will-
I think that's fine if your win condition for that fight is something that your tank can do. So for example, like your Zarya has Grav or something like that, then maybe,
I
right?
see.
But
Mhm.
otherwise, I think it's probably worse to do that. It's almost always worse, actually.
Yeah, I when I was learning Kiri on quick play, that's the thing that I learned. I should not teleport to people, rather the opposite.
Yeah.
And here, now that I play competitive, I try to help the one-on-one. So it's like okay, it's a guess.
Yeah.
Are we gonna win or not? So yeah.
Right. But what I'm trying to point out to you is that you don't need to guess, right? Like you can take the guesswork out, right? Okay. So yeah, so here we're poking from main, right? I think it's fine. We're expecting like our next fight should happen like right where our Reaper is. Okay. If our team takes the fight early and we fight down here, it's actually way worse because it limits how many off angles like our team can take. So this is a little bit early from your Reaper. But let's just say the fight does happen where our Reaper is. Where do we want to set up?
We have the right angle and we have the left one.
Yep.
And yeah, also the top a little bit of it.
Yeah, exactly. So we can even shoot down here and
Yeah.
then use the opportunity. Let's say like our team starts to push them back. We can even drop behind them and start shooting them this way, right?
Yeah.
And again, all this is possible because Kiri has such an easy disengage. You can just TP out.
Okay.
Here. Yeah, this is just not needed, right? Even if nobody touches your Widow here, she's going to heal back to full.
No one can hide.
Yeah, I think
Your Ryan dies because of it. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I think it's just how easy we don't take the headshot. I was like, okay, we just Suzu her to avoid that. Because sometimes I just teleport to her or heal her and they die just like that.
Yes,
So.
but what is she going to die from back here, right? She can only die from Ana and Freya, maybe, right?
Mm.
But importantly, she has the ability to just stop taking damage. She can just one peek, right? So she doesn't actually need healing here.
Yeah.
Right? The people that need healing are the people that are actively taking damage and can't stop taking damage. These people here.
Yeah, I think he pings I need healing and I was just looking where
Don't
is
worry about
where is
Don't worry about
yeah.
it. I mean, you can TP to him and heal him. I think that's like I think that's a little overkill, right? But definitely don't Suzu him, right? That's like way too much. Because what ends up happening is like right here, look who needs Suzu. Ryan, Reaper, right? You don't even need to TP to them to Suzu them from here, right? You can just throw it from here. Yeah, you guys, yeah.
Like mending a shadow. Let the Kitsune guide you.
Okay. So why is this Kiri ult bad? This is maybe the worst Kiri ult we've seen from you so far.
Because there is the shield. Sigma shield.
Yeah, I mean that's a reason, but like so with the speed boost that Kiri ult gives, you can just run past the shield, right? But also, more importantly, right? What blocks Kiri ult? Shields don't block Kiri ult, right? What blocks Kiri ult?
There is something blocking it.
Yeah.
Payload.
It's the cart. Yeah, exactly. So
I didn't know
you
that.
get you get very lucky because here the Kiri ult actually goes over this little bump on the tire, right? But if you sent it straight into the middle, it would have just stopped right here, right?
Oh, okay.
So that's one why it's bad here. Two, the second reason why it's bad here is that their team is all the way back here, right? As soon as you carry ult, they just have to back up, use 0 cooldowns, right? Just back up, and then like they're all fine, right? So they're just way too far away. So this is like way too early. When you want to carry ult is if, let's say, their Sig is like right here near your Rhine, so that your Kiri can carry your Rhine into their backline, right? And then your Rhine and your Reaper, right? But these guys are just so far away. So look what happens. You carry ult, they nano actually, and then look, their whole backline is just safe, right?
Yeah, true.
And so what ends up killing these people is not you know, your Kiri ult. It's the shatter, right? And then that's what causes your team to be able to walk like all the way back here now. Yeah. Okay. So let's look at one more fight here, and then we'll call it there. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Again, this would be good positioning if you're Ana, right?
Yeah.
Where do we want to set up if we're Kiri?
The where Mercy is, the green there. Yeah.
Like up here, you're saying, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's one option. You can even do something like this, right? Now, this means you have to back up sooner with TP, because if your team backs up, then you're going to be caught out over here, right? But yeah, I think both of these are fine. You could even do something like this, where you're inside here, and you're shooting this way, and being very sneaky. But again, the farther away you are from like relative safety, you know, back here, the sooner you have to TP to make sure you don't get cut off.
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, these are all good options. Okay.
Your day just got made.
Oh, pain. And so because we're so far away, we have to like TP into Suzu, right? If we were here already, or if we were here already, right, we wouldn't even need to TP.
Yeah, true.
Under my protection.
TP out. Okay. Yeah, and then again, just like neutral back to very far positioning, right? Again, we just want to be a little bit closer.
A new dawn for you.
60 seconds.
Okay. Well, don't keep dumping heals into the shield.
I'm with you. Soothing your wounds.
Yeah, and see how when we're backing up from here, we backed up towards main, so it's easier for this person to hit multiple people with his ult. I'll show you.
Yeah.
So once we're here, don't want to back up this way, back up this way, right? Just look what ends up happening. Right? And so it forces, you know, Valk and all this kind of stuff. Okay. Good. So let's talk about big takeaways, okay? Actually, let's talk about positives first. What do you think? What do you think you did well?
I don't know.
Oh, come on. You can give yourself one compliment.
I don't think that I did that well, like other than heal boting.
I think generally, right?
Or
Usually,
trying to-
Suzu, your Suzu discipline is like not bad. Like it's not being thrown out at the very first sign of danger, which I think is like a common carry mistake. So that's good. I also think generally speaking, your ult timing is good outside of that one ult that we talked about, right? But like the timing of it is good, but you also want to make sure that you are using your own ult, right? Because obviously Kiri being able to shoot faster is like really strong because of how much damage she does, right? Okay. So yeah. So those two things are good, I think. Let's talk about big takeaways. What do you think are your big takeaways?
Don't play like Ana.
Yeah, true. So what does that mean though? Specifically, what are we trying to fix when we say that?
more proactive, more
Yes.
off angle, and
So right,
yeah,
be more proactive.
more
Uh,
opportunist, I would say as well.
yeah. So here's what I'll say. I'll say starts on the off angle. Now this could be either alone or +1, right?
Mm.
Um, then TP away, right?
Mhm.
If needed. Okay. Now, what does it need for a TP, right? It's either if you're low or if someone else that you need to heal gets really low, right?
Yeah,
So in the first game, right, if your Baptiste gets jumped by Sojourn or something like that, right, then you need to have the awareness of checking back with your team to make sure they don't need your healing, right?
yeah,
So, and then
yeah,
if they do, you need to TP to them. Make sense?
yeah.
Okay. So, all right. Remember to your check on your team mid fight, and then actually I'll make that point B. Point A is when you start to get to your off angle, right? Plan your TP, your escape, your escape target ahead of time, right?
Mhm.
Okay. Uh, Good. Okay. Any questions about that?
Is Kiriko a hero that I can play?
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. I don't see why not. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Um.
yeah, yeah,
Go ahead.
okay, and when I should play Juno and when I should play Kiriko,
It's a good
because
question.
most of the time seems like Kiriko can fit in
Yeah. Yeah.
many composition and
Yeah.
many
She is
maps.
very very versatile, right?
Mm.
But so let's actually talk about this, right? So what is Juno's big defining characteristic?
The team mobility, the
Yeah, yeah,
ring.
yeah, exactly. The speed boost, right? Her and Lucio are the only two people in the game that can reliably give your team speed boost outside of like I don't know, Junker Queen shout, but it's like that's not huge,
Mhm.
right? um, so so in what situations do you think a speed boost is really strong for your whole team?
I play Juno when I have Bastion and Hog combination. Yeah, so because of it gives them like speed boost in the during the fight,
Who's
especially
Hulk?
Bastion. Roadhog.
Oh, Roadhog. Oh, Hog.
Yeah,
Hog.
sorry.
I thought you were talking about Marvel Rivals for a second. I was like, what?
No, no, no.
Okay,
My
okay,
bad.
yeah. So yeah, basically, whenever your team wants to brawl and like stick as a unit and like run at people together, that's when Juno is like really strong, right?
Mm.
So heroes like Junker Queen, Reinhardt, Hog, Bastion, even heroes like Reaper, right? Those can be really strong with Juno. May, for example, right? But if you have people who, if your team is like spreading out a little bit more and taking more angles, then the +1 playstyle becomes more stronger, right? So heroes like Sombra, Tracer, Genji. If your soldiers flanking a lot, like on Junkertown, right? Even heroes like Cassidy and Sojourn can flank, right? So if they're flanking a lot, then Carry becomes stronger, right? It's also if you want to give yourself more agency to kill people in the actual game against the enemy team, then Kiriko can become stronger as well. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So
I
it's
got it.
it's a
Yeah.
different tool set, right? So if you identify the problem as one thing, think about okay, what does Juno as a tool set give me? Is it better for that, right? Or is Kiri better here, right? That kind of thing. Okay. Okay. So be more proactive. Start on the off angle, then TP away if needed. Good. So we talked about why Kiriko specifically is so good at +1ing.
Yeah.
And then I would say, yeah, generally speaking, your positioning is like you default to creating distance when you don't need to in carry, right? And
Mhm.
like how we talked about, it's likely like a remnant of learning Juno and all this kind of stuff. So I would say practice closing distance on heroes that you can duel, right?
Mhm.
Against specific people like May, Junkrat, Reaper, right? You obviously want to stay outside of their range, like Tracer, for example, right? You want to stay outside, like you want to stay outside their effective range, but you don't want to be so far that you're like playing an honor range, right?
Okay, yeah.
Against most heroes, Kiriko is deadlier up close. Makes it more reliable. It's easier to hit headshots. All this kind of stuff. Okay.
Yeah,
Good.
I always thought that she's good at long range because I guess you can still hit shots. But yeah, I was wrong.
Yeah. So actually, this is a good thing to think about. Why is Zen better at long range than Kiriko? Because they're both like projectiles that can headshot. They don't have any fall off, right?
The
Why is
speed
Zen?
of it.
Yeah, exactly. The speed of the
Yeah.
projectile and the
Yeah.
fire rate. Zen can shoot faster, so he can like afford to miss
Mm.
more. You know what I mean? Plus, even more importantly than that, is that Kiriko can get out when she needs to get out. Zen can't, so he has to play at range. Whereas Kiriko,
Yes,
it's better for you to play up close because it's easier for you to hit your shot, and you can get out
I
when
see.
you need to get out. Right?
Mhm. Yeah.
Good. Okay. Good stuff. Okay, so let me send this to you. Then I'll stop the recording there.